yesterday you was gonna pay me for my pain. I told you yesterday you was gonna pay me for my pain. See, you the type of person, you ain't used to having nobody around you to meet you where you at. All right? I'm equally as crazy. I'm equally mentally and emotionally unstable as you are. All of this was supposed to be put to bed yesterday.
Imagine looking into the eyes of a person you called a brother, someone you sat with, laughed with, and broke bread with, only to realize you were never their friend. You were just an extra in their reality show. You were just a prop, waiting to be burned for a higher rating. That is the cold, cruel reality hanging over Hollywood and the culture right now. We are watching a masterclass in calculated deception, a tragedy wrapped up in a glossy public relations package. But when you strip away the bright lights, the dramatic captions, and the theatrical tears, what you are left with is the most vicious, cold-blooded setup in recent celebrity history.
You the one who can sing so beautifully, but don't nobody give a f about it. Because the only reason you ever get airtime lately is when you're talking about me or you're talking about somebody else. You're doing something negative. And if that's what you want to be known for is negative bullshit, keep doing what you're doing.
People always knew Tamar Braxton was dramatic. That's her brand. That's what made her a reality TV legend. But nobody expected her to cross a line so dark, so completely unforgivable, that it would leave one of her most loyal allies picketed by an angry mob online while she sat back and watched the flames rise. She didn't just hurt her friend, she set him up deliberately. And when Storm Monroe connected the dots and laid out the blueprint of this betrayal, everything changed. The veil didn't just fall, it was ripped off completely.
And then we could really finish spilling it all publicly, bitch, because it still ain't even all spilled. I'm still holding on over here. I'm still over here trying to protect what little bit of damn dignity you got left about yourself. Leave me alone, girl.
To truly understand how we got to this dark moment, you have to rewind the tape and look at where Tamar Braxton was in her life and career. Years ago, Tamar was on top of the world. With a vocal range that could stop you in your tracks, she wasn't just another singer, she was a force of nature. That iconic, soaring voice put her on the map.
We would be really good friends together. And I was glad when you reached out to me and we started hanging out. And we had some really good times. We did, honestly and truthfully, we had great times the whole way through until you came with.
But it was her unfiltered, over-the-top personality on reality TV that made her a household name. She was loud, she was funny, she was fabulous, and people couldn't get enough of her.
But over the last few years, the music stopped making noise. The hit singles dried up. The major album releases vanished from the calendar. The red carpets grew quiet, and the industry phone calls stopped coming in. Real quiet. For a normal artist, a quiet season is a time to reflect, reset, and go back into the studio to hone their craft.
No matter what he says, I love Funky Dineva, and if I would have known what was going on while I was recovering, I would have said.
But Tamar Braxton isn't built like normal people. She built her entire identity on being in your face, on being the absolute center of attention at every single second of the day. She is someone who feeds on the spotlight like air. Without the crowd cheering, without the headlines buzzing, without the world talking about her, that silence wasn't just peaceful, it was destroying her. When the music industry moved on, desperation kicked in. And desperation in Hollywood is a dangerous, unpredictable drug. When talent is no longer generating the headlines, drama becomes the currency. Tamar knew she needed a spark to jumpstart her fading music career, a massive wave of attention to propel her new EP rollout into the atmosphere.
You know, I made a simple request. Can you just say a little something? Well, I'm in the hospital. I didn't say. I said, okay, girl. You had Phil and Norman them called me. You put the statement up for all of 45 minutes and you took it down and started popping off.
But instead of relying on the beauty of her voice, she chose to weaponize a crisis. It started on an ordinary night. Tamar was out partying, living it up, celebrating life with media personality Funky Deneva. They were laughing, drinking, taking photos, and having the time of their lives like old friends. Funky was someone who had loved her for years, a man who had used his own platform time and time again to defend her talent, promote her projects, and champion her when others wrote her off. He treated her like family. Then morning came, and the bomb dropped. Tamar posted a terrifying, graphic, highly emotional message on social media. She claimed she woke up in a pool of her own blood, with broken teeth, a fractured nose, and severe physical trauma, pleading with her millions of followers for prayers. There was no context, no detailed explanation of what happened, no names mentioned, just pure, unfiltered, visceral horror.
Naturally, the internet went into absolute overdrive. Within minutes, social media detectives began piecing together her final hours before that chilling post. And who was the last person seen standing next to her? Who was the man smiling beside her in the videos from hours before? Funky Deneva. In a matter of hours, Funky went from being a supportive friend enjoying a night out to the most hated man on the internet. The mob descended on him with full force. People online began accusing him of horrible, violent acts. They speculated that he spiked her drink, that he physically assaulted her, or that he set her up to be jumped by a group of people. His comment section turned into a crime scene. His reputation was being torn to shreds in real time. His entire livelihood was hanging by a thread, while people demanded he be locked up. And where was Tamar while her friend's life was being destroyed? She was sitting back in total, calculated silence. She watched the madness unfold. She saw her name trending #1 worldwide. She saw the blogs posting about her injuries every 5 minutes. She knew the entire world believed Funky was a violent monster who had viciously beaten a woman. And yet, she didn't say a single word to clear his name. Not one tweet, not one statement, nothing. She let him hang out to dry, swinging in the wind of public outrage, because every single accusation thrown at him was driving more traffic to her name. What the world didn't know yet was that this entire sequence of events wasn't an accident. It was the play.
Days later, while Funky was still picking up the pieces of his shattered reputation, Tamar finally dropped her next big post. Was it a statement clearing Funky? Was it an explanation of who actually hurt her? No. It was a slick, high-budget, polished promotional video for her brand new music video. And standing right beside her in that glossy promotional footage, smiling for the camera, was Funky Deneva. The piece of the puzzle finally clicked into place, and the sheer audacity of it left people breathless. She had intentionally dropped a cryptic, bloody narrative right before unveiling a project featuring the very man the internet thought had attacked her. She used the horrifying image of domestic violence and physical assault as a promotional stunt to drive views to a music video. She traded a black man's safety, character, and mental health for clicks, streams, and album pre-orders. Funky Deneva was completely devastated. When he saw that promo go live, the reality hit him like a freight train. He wasn't part of a genuine moment with a sister in the industry. He was a pawn. He was collateral damage in a desperate attempt to manipulate the public for a music release. The violation of that betrayal cut deeper than any physical wound ever could. And that is when Storm Monroe stepped into the arena. Storm Monroe is not the type of content creator who plays nice with celebrity PR machines. He built his reputation on refusing to bow down to industry elites, speaking truth to power, and calling out fake behavior no matter how famous the person is. When Storm saw what happened to Funky Deneva, he didn't just see a messy celebrity feud. He saw a calculated, dangerous manipulation that needed to be exposed to the bone. Storm went live on his platform, and he went completely off on Tamar Braxton. He delivered a ferocious, unfiltered, brilliant breakdown of the entire situation that sent shockwaves through the community.
She set him up, Storm roared to his audience, holding nothing back. He broke down the mechanics of Tamar's playbook step by step, laying out the ugly pattern for everyone to see. First, Storm targeted that initial "I almost died" post. He called it out for what it truly was, a reckless, weaponized cry for attention designed to trigger panic and speculation. When you put out imagery like that with zero context, Storm explained, you aren't asking for prayers. You are throwing blood into shark-infested waters and watching people get torn apart. Then, Storm hit her with the most devastating point of all, the complete lack of protection for her friend. Storm pointed out that if Tamar had even an ounce of real love or respect for Funky, clearing his name would have taken less than 10 seconds. All it required was one single sentence on her Instagram story. Funky Deneva had nothing to do with what happened to me. He was a great host, leave him alone. That's it. 10 seconds to save a man's reputation. 10 seconds to stop an innocent person from being labeled an abuser. But Tamar didn't post that sentence. Why? Because clarity destroys mystery, and mystery was the exact fuel she needed to keep her name trending until her music dropped. She deliberately chose to let an innocent friend suffer under the weight of false assault allegations just to keep the public hooked on her drama.
Storm went deeper into her history, showing how this wasn't an isolated incident, but a lifetime pattern of behavior. He reminded the audience of how Tamar treats the people who open their doors to her. Look at how she treated Kandi Burruss, endlessly dragging her name, insulting her businesses, and making dark, damaging allegations about her household. Look at how she treated Jason Lee after he gave her a platform, turning around and speaking ill of him the second the cameras were off. Tamar Braxton gets close to you, learns your heart, learns your secrets, and the moment she needs a headline, she will butcher you on the altar of public attention, Storm proclaimed. She manufactures collateral damage. Funky Deneva contrasted Funky Deneva's character with Tamar's toxicity. Funky is a man who speaks his mind directly. He might be harsh, he might be blunt, but he says it to your face. He doesn't hide behind cryptic posts, vague subtweets, and victimhood narratives. Tamar, on the other hand, lives entirely in the shadows of passive-aggressive manipulation. She uses her history, her family name, and her past pain as a shield, so nobody can hold her accountable for the destruction she leaves in her wake. When Storm Monroe was finished laying out the truth, the narrative around Tamar Braxton completely collapsed. The public could no longer look at her as a helpless victim of circumstance. They saw the architect of a deliberate, cold, calculated PR stunt that weaponized real human trauma for personal gain. The emotional fallout from a betrayal like this doesn't just disappear when the social media news cycle moves on to the next topic. The damage runs deep into the soul of everyone involved. For Funky Deneva, the psychological toll was immense. Imagine the feeling of waking up to thousands of messages calling you a monster, feeling the entire weight of the internet coming down to destroy your life, only to find out the person who dragged you into the fire did it on purpose for a song. He accepted her vague, half-hearted public apology later on, but you could hear the profound exhaustion in his voice. It wasn't an acceptance born out of forgiveness, it was an acceptance born out of pure emotional fatigue. He was tired of hurting, he was tired of being used. He realized that years of loyalty meant absolutely nothing when weighed against a few extra album streams.
And what about Tamar? She thought this elaborate drama would be the springboard that launched her back to the top of the music charts. She thought people would look past the messy wreckage and just listen to the music. But the plan completely backfired. Instead of praising her vocals, the world was disgusted by her methods. By choosing spectacle over loyalty, she permanently damaged her credibility, not just as an artist, but as a human being. People realized that being in her inner circle is a hazard to your health and reputation. The friends who truly cared about her, the people who stood by her during her darkest hours, have walked away. They realized that in Tamar's world, love is conditional, and friendship is completely disposable. This entire situation leaves us with a chilling lesson about the dark side of modern fame and the lengths people will go to stay relevant in a world that is moving past them. When an artist allows their desire for attention to swallow their humanity, everyone around them becomes a potential victim. Tamar Braxton had one of the most incredible, gifted singing voices of a generation. She had talent that money couldn't buy. But talent means nothing when your character is hollow. The voice that could have made her an immortal legend in R&B got completely buried under cheap theatrics, fake crises, and backstabbing schemes.
Storm Monroe did what few people in the industry have the courage to do. He held up a mirror to a superstar and showed the world the ugly truth hiding behind the glamour. He showed us that when somebody shows you who they are through their actions, you have to believe them the first time. Tamar got the attention she was starving for. Her name was in every blog, every comment section, and every live stream for weeks. But she lost something far more valuable in the process: her integrity, her real friends, and the respect of the public. Once people stop seeing you as an artist and start seeing you as a toxic hazard, there is no public relations firm in the world that can rebuild your image. Was Storm Monroe right to call her out so ruthlessly? Or do you think Tamar was just a misunderstood artist caught in a messy situation? How would you react if a close friend used your reputation as a stunt for their own success? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell, because this industry saga is far from over.